So far, we've been asking questions, gathering information, making decisions about data collection, as well as defining problems and designing solutions to address some of the safety concerns we need to think about. In this video, we'll discuss the enormous amount of planning it takes to carry out our investigations. Our expedition will start at McMurdo Station, the largest research center in Antarctica. This is where we will plan and pack for our 3-week expedition. Before heading into the field, we will engage in several intense safety briefings and training sessions to prepare us for extreme cold weather, operating snowmobiles and other vehicles on the ice, and following environmental protection policies. Crevasse safety will be our most important training. This involves using our field equipment to practice emergency situations, like creating pulley systems to hoist someone who has fallen into a crevasse, and proper techniques for climbing out of a crevasse. Throughout these videos, I've been using the word "we" a lot. That's because scientists rarely work alone. During my field season, I'll be working with 6 teammates who are not all in my field. This happens a lot in science. Each member will play a role and present different skills to form an interdisciplinary team of scientists, engineers, teachers, students, and mountaineers. The first priority while in McMurdo will be to plan and pack for our 3-week field season. Our camp will be located 50 kilometers from McMurdo, or a 3.5-hour ride by snowmobile. Since it will be difficult to travel to our location, we'll need to pack for our 3-week excursion. We'll take shelter in heavyweight tents that can withstand the coldest, driest, and windiest conditions Antarctica has to offer. While it is fall in the northern hemisphere where you are, it's spring in Antarctica. The average temperature during our stay will likely be around -30 degrees Celsius, which is more than 20 below zero Fahrenheit. In addition to the extreme cold, the winds can gust at 50 miles per hour or even more, and we will be experiencing 24-hour sunlight. We will also need to pack enough food to feed 7 hungry field workers. Living in these conditions can be extremely hard on the human body. The body burns an excessive amount of calories in order to keep warm. So during our stint in the field, we'll need to be properly fed. We will also need to pack enough fuel to keep us warm for 3 straight weeks. And of course, we'll need to pack all of our scientific equipment, solar-powered charging units, and safety equipment. Each team member is in charge of bringing their own personal gear. The U.S. Antarctic program provides each participant several pieces of gear known as ECW gear. This includes a fleece base layer, Carhartts or work pants, heavy-duty boots, Big Red or a goose-down stuffed parka, a face buff or balaclava, snow goggles, hat, and work gloves or heavy-duty mittens. Each team member also packs the additional gear they need to keep warm. This typically includes another layering system to wear underneath, an additional warm hat, glove liners, multiple pairs of warm socks, and a windproof shell. As we are in 24 hours of sunlight, sun blindness is a serious concern since the bare ice and snow acts just like a mirror. To protect our eyes, each team member must bring glacier glasses to block out the sun from all angles. For our safety equipment, we need to bring several tools, including a harness, safety ropes, crampons, ice axes, carabiners and prussics, as well as other pieces of pulley gear to set up a crevasse safety system. We will also be traveling with survival bags and emergency tents, just in case we're caught in inclement weather away from camp. While transporting our gear to base camp only takes around 3.5 hours, we have to set up camp immediately upon arrival by putting up personal tents, a dining tent, science tent and bathroom tent, as well as staking them down thoroughly so they don't blow away. Next comes organizing the food, setting up the heaters, and connecting the fuel to keep the batteries and scientists warm, and unpacking all of the gear. During our last field season, this took approximately 10 hours, and we didn't finish until 4 in the morning. Once camp is set up, there are many daily chores that need to be completed. This includes constantly melting snow to have a supply of water, keeping the stove supplied with fuel, and defrosting meals during the day so they can be cooked in the evening. We also need to send radio contact out to McMurdo each morning so they're aware of our progress and safety. The next order of business is to prepare and organize the gear needed to begin collecting data. This includes taking the robots for a test run and testing the GPS equipment before we set out onto the ice. However, after preparing for our work, we need to be flexible towards varying weather conditions. We may have an ideal schedule in place, but often weather can change at the last second, leading to whiteout conditions not conducive to research. That said, the robotic GPR operations are completed by a 3-member team on a continuous basis, with team members working in shifts. For the GPS work, we try to schedule helicopter transport for the dangerous part of our survey to be completed the first and last week of our time in the field. In addition, on days with good weather conditions, we set out on our snowmobiles to cover sections of our grid. An example day would include sending out 8 GPS receivers and typically takes around 7 hours. We hope to survey each location twice if possible to increase accuracy. Finally, after 3 weeks of performing research in the harshest environment on Earth, it will be time to pack up and head back to McMurdo. Once we get back to McMurdo, we'll need to organize and download our data to take home for processing. We've retrieved the data, we're worn out from the field, but the work's still not over. Fieldwork is only one small portion of the scientific process, and now the learning begins. In the next video, we'll talk about how to go about making sense of all the data we've obtained. I'll now leave you with some questions to consider for next time. What are your experiences with planning a trip, and what gear did you need? What kind of information did you need ahead of time in order to pack for your trip? Thanks for following. The comments you've sent so far have been really fun to read in the field. Please send more.